Welcome back, everyone. For today's video, I will apply the geometry of chess to win a game. This is a very simple system, CTA. So let's start the game and I will reveal what CTA stands for. Then I'm gonna play C4, my favorite opening. So the first thing, the C stands for center. Really simple, right? We're gonna try and fight for these 4 squares. Failing that, I will try to fight for the outer square. So that should be the purpose for any opening. And we can do that with pawns as well as with pieces. And we are not getting a game here. Probably we'll have to look for another player. Okay, finally we get a game. He's gonna play knight f6. So he's doing the same thing. I'm gonna counter that by playing knight b3. We're both fighting for the same square, right? Okay, he's gonna fin cheat the bishop. So I will grab more space. I can go for e4 and d4. Both moves are good. And I can even do something like e4, right? So I have put my 3 pawns in the center. We're fighting for these squares. And this is a good opening. Now I'm gonna develop my other knight. And yeah, this is very simple system. Okay, now I'm gonna play, this is a good move, knight f4, sorry, bishop f4 or bishop g5. So I'm gonna go for bishop g5. And the things you want to keep in mind is, first, let's just develop our pieces. I'm gonna put my bishop here. Okay, so they develop the knight, we are castle. Let's see and wait for another move. Okay, he's taking his time to think here. This is just the opening phase. All right, so he's going for something slow and he's playing e6. Now we can keep developing our pieces. I'm gonna get my rook into this file. And I'm also getting out of this diagonal, right, of the bishop. So it's really hard to punish these kind of slow development moves where he's not really fighting so much for the center, right? But we shouldn't try to win right away. So here what I'm going to do is, okay, I'm gonna get my, once I have good pieces, so I have good pieces, I am developed, and I'm going to try and counter this pawn by playing b4, maybe a4. I think a4 is good. It's gonna be good. So the first thing, center, right? Second, territory. Anytime the opponent threatens to go into your territory, then you have to do something about it. Like just now, the pawn is threatening to go into my territory. There is nothing here to worry about. I can even shut down the position and put my pawn into his territory and see how he manages this. And yeah, we just go back to the same principle of, okay, now he unfortunately has to do something about the knight. He might have to move it. Or he, yeah, so here he's kicking out my bishop. And I'm also threatening to take his knight, correct? So I'm gonna have to go back. I can also take here, but he will take my bishop. So this is gonna be a bit of a trade. I don't want you to rush it. So just for the sake of this video, I'm gonna go back. Now he's gonna have to kick out my bishop. It's the only move in the position that keeps alive the game. And now, yeah, he blundered. I think he forgot that this queen is hanging. And I'm just gonna take the queen. And I probably have to play another game just to demonstrate the principle because, yeah, it wasn't much here to do. But okay, let's see how we can win this position. he probably should resign, but if he doesn't resign, it's fine too. Now, okay, we have good pieces. Unfortunately, we have a bishop that is in the light squares, and all the pawns are in the opposite color. So what I want to do is put my bishop on a better diagonal. Maybe this diagonal is good, and I don't even have to rush it now, but I'm going to try and activate my pieces on this side of the board, which is easier to attack. So I'm gonna get my queen here, and now this has become very difficult to play for black. Okay, now I'm gonna put my bishop on this diagonal. Definitely possible now. Before it was more difficult, right? He could have played something like a6. Now, yeah, this is not very convenient. And here what you want to do is just trade pieces. I'm gonna trade all pieces. Here, I don't wanna take the knight because the rook will be hanging. So that is the third step in the third thing to keep in mind in this system. First center, second territory, and third alignment of the pieces. So here we have alignment of the pieces. I don't want to move my bishop. My rook will be hanging. I can also take, so that will be good. I'm gonna take here. And once I take back, I'm hitting the rook. So I'm hitting the rook, I'm hitting the knight. So he's gonna have to go back. And once we have good pieces, it's like I always say, now you have a pawn break. Look for pawn breaks. I'm gonna go for this pawn break, c4. Okay, here you really want to open up the position, so I'm gonna take, so I can bring my rook into the game. Here we have this focus on the center, right? My knight is protecting my pawn, is holding onto these two pawns. And probably you're thinking, why he doesn't take the pawn here? Well, it's not a bad move, but that hands the knight. So I can play rook c8, for example. That will come with check. And then the king will have to move. So that's why he's thinking about it. He's considering whether that is a good move. Of course, he's hitting my queen, but I have the extra tempo to move. Okay, now, yeah, you want to put your rooks on the open files. So here my rook is gonna come to the 7th rank. When I have a lot of activity next, I will bring my other rook into the game. Okay, here we can just simply take. We can just take here and bring more pieces into the attack. Okay. Here, if you're losing, if you're down on material, you don't want to trade pieces. So that only benefits me. As the more simple the position, then I have more likelihood to win. Here, it's gonna take 4 times to get here, right? I even have this tempo, and I can even do the same thing with my pawn. And his pieces are all tied down. And now he always look for this alignment of the pieces, right? My queen is looking at the rook, so that is the A. And now this is checkmate. I'm gonna play another game because this was really short, and see if we can replicate the same system with black. So let's go with black. It's gonna be a random game as well, unrated. Okay, we get white again, but okay, let's try and do it the same thing. Again, we're gonna fight for the center. See, that is the C4 center. I'm gonna put more pressure with my knight. Developing the other knight. Okay, now d4. And now I will go for the same system just to demonstrate that we can replicate time and time again. Wait, is this the same opponent? I think he's playing the same moves. It's like a deja vu almost. But okay, this is a common position. So, all right, here, what we mentioned before, right? The territory. Whenever the opponent crosses into your territory or threatens to cross your territory, you might want to do something about it. Not always. Here we don't have to do anything. If they take, I can just take back with the knight. So I'm gonna castle. And if they take, just no worry. Nothing to worry about here. And my knight is active. What we want to consider when we divide this board into two is that, for example, this bishop still has a scope, correct? That's the thing to consider. And I'm gonna do this very annoying move, bishop g5, because it pins the queen, so it's always a good move. I hope they don't blunder again, because that will be a bad example for the video. Okay, yeah, that's good. Now they probably move the knight here. I was thinking about that, but they don't do it. Now, this knight is threatening to win the pawn, right? They can take twice here. We have to look for a way to defend. So probably queen c2 looks a good move. I'm activating my queen. And the problem with that move is I'm also unprotecting this knight. So I don't love it. Is there a way to punish? Is there a way to move this pawn? Maybe. Or I can just protect it here, right? So we have different options. Here I would probably... What would be the safest move? The safest move in the position? Probably not the best if we analyze it with a computer. But I'm gonna play very solid. Just to demonstrate today's principles. I'm gonna play bishop f3. Probably it's not a good move. That's unfortunate. That is a blunder. Now he moved the knight away. And remember, you only want to pay attention to this to your territory, right? So here he's threatening to cross my territory, and this is just hanging. It's just hanging, right? So I'm just gonna take here and he blunder. That was bad. Okay, I'm still gonna publish this video because I believe the system works and it can help you think. Okay, let's fight for the center here. When they cross into my territory, maybe I have to calculate. I have to do something about it. And the third principle, look for the alignment of the pieces. So here, the idea is very clear. Alignment of pieces, he wants to win my knight. I gotta do something. Maybe I can retreat the knight. I can move it. Usually, whenever you cross into the enemy's territory, might be a bad option. For example, here, if I move my knight, he can take with the bishop. I take back, but he's gonna take back with the queen. So I'm losing a pawn. That's not good. Okay, the safest move on the planet. I'm gonna retreat and move my knight, right? I don't have to do anything. I'm winning. Okay, now I want to play this move. This looks very attractive. 95, hitting the queen. But now this pawn is hanging. So I have to look for this alignment all the time. He is also threatening to win this pawn, right? He is attacking the pawn. We always fight for the center. He's attacking it twice. So is there a move that protects this pawn, for example, and at the same time attacks the queen? Probably not. I was thinking about it, but no, I don't think there is a move. Actually, we have good tactics. So remember, you have to calculate one time and probably go back to that first calculation. So 95, yeah, this pawn is hanging. What is the worst thing that can happen after this pawn is hanging? Right? He might take the rook. Okay, but I can also threaten to win his rooks. So I'm gonna go for that. So now this cannot happen. This pawn is not really a concern for me right now because he now has to move the queen. So here we still don't want to lose the rook. Okay, I'm gonna move my rook. I can move it here. This is still something I have to protect. I can maybe move my pawn here. Give me a second to calculate. Yeah, I think that's fine. That's completely fine. You also want to be aware of this bishop. You don't want to trap it, but I don't see a way he can trap my bishop now. Okay, yeah. So I decided to protect this pawn just because this pawn is more important than this pawn, right? We want to protect the center. I don't really care if he... Actually, we can argue that this is a poison pawn because now I'm gonna put my rook on the open file. So I'm gonna do that. Just put my rook on the open file, and maybe later this will be useful. Not right now, I don't see anything now to exploit this type of weakness. But the open game is gonna benefit me. Alright, so I want to improve my pieces. This looks like my worst piece, right? And I wanna play on the dark squares. That might be a good move. I also want to trade the most active piece in the game. The most active piece in the game is this bishop. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to trade the bishops. Okay, that's smart. He's retreating the knight. So this idea doesn't work anymore. But I can still jump in with the knight and it's protected twice. So I will do that. And I'm hoping that he takes. If he takes, I'm happy. I can just take back with the queen. Okay. Now he's threatening to win to win my knight. I gotta move my knight somewhere. And anytime there is a threat, you also want to consider if you can damage the opponent by taking a piece or having some kind of tactic. I don't see anything here, so I'm gonna play really solid and move my knight back. Actually, now that I realize it, I think I missed this move. Probably I could have taken here, so it would have been a priority to take back. But okay, maybe we can analyze this later. So now my bishop is hanging, not my knight. Yeah, probably was the best idea to take there, because now we're getting into a little bit of trouble. It's not that much, right? So this is forcing. I'm going to have to retreat my bishop. Yeah. Let me see if there is something else. Yeah, I will have to retreat my bishop, and now my pawn structure is kind of ruined. Yeah, these are split pawns, unfortunately. But okay. Yeah, sometimes it's easier to say something than actually applying, right, the concept. But everything is good in this position, so we're still winning. We still have the advantage. Anytime the opponent goes into your territory or threatens, you have to first try to kick out the pieces. This is a bad move because it blunders the fork, right? So sometimes you have to play around it. Now if I move my knight, I actually have to move faster because I'm low on time. But I will explain later the moves if they were too difficult to see. So here I'm just retreating and protecting my knight, right? Yeah, he was threatening to win my... So I'm gonna try and simplify here. Maybe I can just take, and then I can put my knight on this square. Okay, that's very good, because now his scope of the queen and the rook is very limited. I'm also threatening to win the pawn. I realize this might be a good move. Maybe. I have something special in mind, but I don't know if it's gonna work. Okay. No. So I'm gonna take the pawn. There's nothing to think about here. If he takes, I just take back. Okay. Now my knight is unprotected, so I have to grab his queen. And now he's getting into this fork, right? Alignment of the pieces. So I'm gonna win the rook. And I'm gonna win the bishop. I will try to simplify just because I'm low on time. And I can win the rook, right? So here we have rook aligned to the king. And now I can play this cover check. And I'm gonna win the rook. Okay, so this is a clean rook. And the game is over. So here we can even give a check. Simplify, trying to win the pawns. Okay, I have to move the bishop. Okay, I'm gonna grab all the pawns and see if I can checkmate him here. And now, okay, I'm gonna put my rook here and then threaten to play checkmate next. So I'm gonna waste that tempo and play this. It's gonna have to get back. Okay, how do I do this? Okay, I'm gonna go here. It's like you can run, but you cannot hide. And I'm gonna go here. Probably should have a better technique. Okay, I'm gonna go there. And this is checkmate, right? So, okay, follow this principle. First, just fight for the center, pawns and pieces. Second thing, if you cannot, you can do this. Fight for this outer square. Then, territory. Always try to kick out the pieces into the enemy's territory. And then into your get across into your territory. And third, look for the alignment of the pieces. Just like I did with this beautiful tactic where, okay, he's taking my knight. But now I have this cover check where I'm attacking the king. And I'm attacking the rook. So yeah, practice tactics. And good things will happen when you play chess. Please comment, like, and subscribe. And I will see you in the next one. Take care.